So there's a recent trend of A-list celebrities promising and hoping to build eco-friendly smart cities in African, countries and whatnot. And most of these A-list celebrities being black. On today's episode, we are going to talk about why these cities fail. Why does an A-list celebrity come up and say, we're going to do this, and then they end up not doing exactly that? Okay? Hi, my name is Jenny Tamaya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know everyone has heard of Aon and his Aon City. He has even traveled to Uganda, by the way, and the government promised to give him free land where he can build his futuristic city. Now watch this clip and know more about Aon City before I jump right in.
Name of it, Aon City?
Yeah, as of right now, it's Aon City.
Aon City.
Just think of what Dubai is today.
Yes.
And what it used to be 15 years ago.
Oh, I remember. It's in Senegal?
Yeah, it's in Senegal.
Okay.
Right off the water, it's all on the beachfront.
Okay.
So you're gonna have resorts, you're gonna have entertainment complexes, hotels, boating docks,
Right.
amphitheaters for concerts,
Wow.
film studios, music studios, restaurants. It's gonna be a monster.
Wow. How far do you think this is away?
Sure. Construction actually literally started last week.
Right.
So you've seen the clip and you've clearly seen Aon promise to create a sustainable and eco-friendly urban center that utilizes renewable energy sources. It sounds like a dream, like a utopia, like a dream come true, like a Wakanda of sort. And that's what many people were hoping. But we all know what happened to Aon City. We all found out that it was a scam. We all found out that people contributed to it, but they didn't end up getting treated how they wanted to be treated, or they didn't end up getting what they wanted out of that contribution to Aon City. Now watch this video by Go Black talking about Aon City, and then I'll come back.
Akon, with all that he has done, supposedly, when it came to lighting up Africa and having a crypto city that's supposed to be in Senegal, and he has this A-coin, like a Bitcoin, that him and his team went out to do a project to be able to help and assist small entrepreneur businesses in Africa, and we're requesting people to come on board this journey in doing this project to help Africa. Now, myself and many people joined on board because why not help people who really don't have much, but yet you want to see them flourish just like you might see yourself or others. In this whole confusion, I don't want to say scam, but I'm going to say that they have not fulfilled their promise in what they would provide to the donors, the investors, or the contributors of this whole thing. Now, they got themselves in hot water, apparently, because of the fact that they were made promises that in exchange for people's donations, they would get a TOA, token of appreciation. This would convert over into an A-coin as the time goes on. But apparently, according to maybe the SEC, and I will provide this information here shortly of the email that they had sent out, but they were not legitimately able to do such a thing, where they asked those people who got involved with this project that to stay on board with them until they can get things fixed. And if you do not want to go further with this project due to the fact that it was illegitimate promise that they had made that is illegal, that you can go ahead, put your name in a hat, and go ahead and get your refund. Well, of course, myself and other people have done such a thing, and they have failed to return people's money, which then will lead me to believe it would be a scam. But let's check out this email traffic here. You see, I reached out to them, which I was told to reach out to one of his board members, Andrew Karas, and he responded back and wanting to take my email and provide a draft and all that stuff there so that then I could receive a refund. And I'm quite sure they did this to many other people. But Aon, being that he is the head of this project, did not fulfill the need. 2 years go by and still nothing. And though I sent probably 3 or 4 emails trying to inquire about the situation, you would say that there was little to no response. Now, I'm sad to report such information because Aon had appeared that he was doing a good job, but it seems though that he is just like most who would want to use Africa only for his own benefit.
Now, Aon City aside, before I get to the point I'm driving at, I kind of want to show you guys the celebrities who have promised to build cities, and then I'm going to drive my point. So bear with me. Now, I know a few of you have watched Empire, so you've definitely heard of Terrence Howard and the plan he had for Uganda, the plan he had to use hydrogen technology to protect the people of Uganda and clean the oceans. Brilliant, yeah? Watch this clip.
You know, I was born Terrence Howard. I've become an actor. You know, I've been nominated for Oscars and Golden Globes and SAG Awards, but those weren't the things that really moved me. As a child, I studied chemical engineering at Pratt Institute, was there for 2 years until I saw that there was an inconsistency with the math there. And so I went out to explore a new way of understanding how the universe works, and I was able to define the grand unified field equation they've been looking for and put it into geometry. And then with that geometry, I was able to put props on that. And what I'm saying is now we have invented a new form of flight that I would like to bring here to Uganda to replace the drones, to replace the helicopters, to replace the planes. We have all the funding necessary. What we need is just a fertile ground in which to build this. Now, this is the geometry of hydrogen. Of hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
This is the proton itself. So any bond that hydrogen can make, our linchpins are able to make. So we're talking about unlimited bonding, unlimited predictable structures, supersymmetry. And the linchpins are now able to behave as a swarm, as a colony that can defend a nation, that can harvest food, that can remove plastics from the ocean, that can give the children of Uganda and the people of Uganda an opportunity to spread this and to sell these products throughout the world. So we are no longer just selling agricultural products and pieces from the land. We can now sell and take center stage with technology. But the main purpose is to defend the sovereignty of a peaceful place and a peaceful people without having to have our young men lose their lives.
And you've seen that clip. Surprisingly enough, like, I don't know how Uganda gets to be in the center of most of these things, but you've seen that clip when he was talking to the president himself and he had this promise of what he wanted to do. When the news came out that he was planning to do all that, some Ugandans, well, most Ugandans didn't understand what exactly it is he was going to do. You know, it sounded like it was a bunch of gibberish. Like, people are not getting what he was saying. It's like, oh, you're coming to do all this. You're getting drone technology to come and protect the country. It's just like, this is something I see in the movies. But hold on, let's head on to the next one. Now, the recent celebrity who has joined this trend of promising smart, eco-friendly cities is Idris Elba. Please watch the clip of Idris Elba. He is a builder of a smart, eco-friendly city on an island in Sierra Leone. It's about being self-reliant, quote unquote. It's about bringing an economy that feeds itself and has growth potential. Please watch this video because the plans he has for us.
Idris Elba is building an entire city on an island off the coast of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a country in West Africa, and it's where Elba's father was born. His plan is to create a futuristic and sustainable eco-city on the island of Sherbro, which is 230 square miles and has a population of around 40,000 people. He's been working on this project with his childhood friend Siaka Stevens since as early as 2019. His plan is to develop tourism in Sierra Leone and reframe the way Africa is viewed. Sounds like an ambitious plan, right? But Idris is not the first celebrity to build a smart city in Africa. Senegalese-American singer Akon has also planned to build a city inspired by Black Panther's Wakanda, but the project has been steeped in controversy and delays. To learn more about the potential of a project like Idris Elba's, I reached out to an urban planning expert.
It's something that I would call an urban utopia, where you are imagining a city that is highly efficient, that is highly automated when it comes to technological applications in the way the city is planned, managed, and governed. In cases where they are successful, they continue to amplify existing socioeconomic inequalities. So there's need to think about that, because we might be creating more and more enclaves for the rich to insulate themselves from the poor.
Idris Elba's project is still in early stages, and the government of Sierra Leone is currently conducting studies to see how feasible it is. But it's likely it will take decades before it's even close to completion.
My advice to him would be just having an open mind and having the ability to listen to the local community.
So here's my take. There's nothing wrong with coming up with a smart city in Africa. It's amazing to actually imagine a city that uses technology in a way that it wants to use it, to improve transportation and like run eco-friendly communities and whatnot. But the problem comes in when the cities they want to build kind of create some sort of gap. Because we all know the lower person, the Mutuawansi, like people said, is not going to be in that city. That it's going to be more of like the middle class who can afford to be there. It's going to be separate from the rest of the world. Because if you think about it, imagine our Wakanda in the middle of nowhere, just the thriving and building, where the outskirts of that Wakanda is just like a slum area or a war-torn country or something like that. It doesn't make sense to fixate on that one area and then turn it into this beautiful piece of art while neglecting the other area. So to me, I feel like that's the flaw that most of these plans have. But here's the catch. I know most of you want to come against these early celebrities and say, they do too much or they're promising something they cannot deliver on. But imagine if you looked within yourself, if you looked within yourself, every time an early celebrity has come on board to talk about his plans to build a futuristic city, which is amazing, by the way. Before I go any further, think about the economic opportunities that the city will create for fellow Africans. Think about the economic development that will be there. Think about everything that people will be able to benefit from. The kids born in that community will be able to benefit from it. The skills that will be transferred, the people who have built the city, transferring skills to like a local African. That's amazing. There's that. But every time an early celebrity has come on board to talk about their plans, which is amazing, because for you to sit down and say, this is what I see for the motherland, I don't see slums anymore. I don't see poverty-stricken people, I see a future there. I see a utopia, the possibility of creating a utopia. Because if there's one thing Africa has, it's a lot of land. There's a lot of unoccupied land. So when someone comes on board and says, why don't I occupy that land and do something for myself? Pause. This is what most fellow Black people do. They laugh. And I know you're watching, you're like, yeah. You've probably also laughed at these early celebrities every time they've come on board to say, here's what we plan to do for the community. Fellow Black people are creating content around that and laughing at them, saying it will never happen. Now, granted, they're not perfect. That's not why we're here today. You can watch our videos. They're not perfect. There's that. But we have to look at the fact that we as Black people are not supporting our fellow Black people, because everyone who has come up to do a futuristic city has been a Black person. So I don't think it would hurt us as Black people to actually support one of our own and say, you see our Wakanda or utopia here, let me support you to achieve that dream. Support safely for you to achieve that dream. Let me do what I can to make sure that we achieve what we want to achieve, to make sure there is a smart city in Africa, And there's also a lack of support from African governments. Now, before you go any further, pause. I know you're going to say, oh yeah, but every time they come to African countries, they're able to meet presidents. Meeting the president is not a guarantee for anything. They can set it up for you, but you actually accessing the promises of the president is where it gets tricky, because there's a lack of support from African officials to these people. They get them to the president, but it just stops there. Where is the land that was promised? Has it been handed over for them to actually do this thing that they hope to do? Question marks. Have they done something? Have they done everything that they promised? Have they facilitated this A-list celebrity to do what they need to do? No. But here's the other thing. Now let's talk about the African governments. When these A-list celebrities go to these African countries, they meet the president, they meet some politicians here and there. There's certain things they're given, granted, yeah? There's certain things they're given land so that they can be able to get a head start on this idea of theirs that is brilliant, by the way. No one should sit here and call these ideas not brilliant, because whenever I look at these videos, I'm just like, it's really possible. It's very possible for us to be there. Because when you look at Dubai was just a desert, and now it's like the biggest city out there. So yeah, just think about it. Just a random island in Africa, just looking like that or looking that good. So there's definitely hope. But when these African governments, hand over the land and whatnot, I feel like there should be accountability. There should be a follow-up so that they can see what they've done with whatever it is they've been given. Now, watch this clip.
I want better for our people, and I want to see in my lifetime Africans coming together and building our continent instead of immigrating or putting ourselves at risk to find greener pastures. I think if I can convince just a few people to build where they are and not risk their lives fleeing their situation, I will feel accomplished, because I have had to report in so many horror stories of our people that, lost their lives while they are on a journey to go somewhere else because they thought the situation would be better somewhere else. I will do what needs to be done today so that tomorrow it's not going to be my child, it's not going to be my grandchild that has to risk their life.
The solution is us coming together as a collective. And I think I've said this before in my first video. Coming together as a collective, coming together as Black people, pulling our resources together so that we can achieve something as big as this is the only solution I see. It's the only way forward. Holding ourselves accountable in the collective so that we can move forward, so that we can get Africa to the Africa that it needs to be. Because it's possible, guys. It's very much possible. Africa is blessed, so many minerals. There's a lot that Africa has to offer, but there's also a lot of untapped potential. There's a lot of untapped minerals, There's a lot that we can do as a collective. There's a lot that we can do as Black people to make sure we get to the Africa that we all want. So yeah, guys, that's it from me. Tell me what you guys think, because like I said, I am a student of life. I learn from anyone, actually. I can just learn something from anyone. So you can let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's have a back and forth. Let's discuss what this is. But yeah, also subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on all my social media platforms at Juanita Maya. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.